Hey guys, my name is Robert. Today we will take a look at this application that I have here. Let me press the keyboard shortcut. Hey, please draft me an email for Alex. His email address is alex@gmail.com. I just want to tell him that I finished the project and I'll be sending it as an attachment. He can tell me what's next or suggest any changes. Make sure to expand on this a little bit more and make it sound professional but friendly. This is Inbox AI, one application that, among other things, lets you control your computer by using your voice. As you can see, a request was processed. It opened the mail application, it drafted my email, and it filled in all the details. And let me show you one more thing. I can select some text, and I use things for task management. So I can say, hey, get my selected text and use its content to make me a task just to follow up with Alex. Then I release, and again, I can see down there that it's grabbing my text and my command is being executed. I can jump to things and there it is. This is just a very quick preview of what this application can do, but there's so much more to explore. Inbox AI is something that would fit the definition of a Swiss Army knife of AI-powered automation for your Mac. As with all automation apps, there's two key elements that we have to consider: triggers and actions. What you saw were a couple of voice commands that were triggered by a keyboard shortcut, but I can also perform an action by using a keyboard shortcut in conjunction with a screenshot. Let's give this a try. I got some text here in Wikipedia, and the moment that I capture my screen, AI analyzes this image, it pulls out the important points, and it will create a note inside Bear. Bear is my favorite app for note-taking, and one of the things that I love about it is that it allows for integrations like this. Here is the result of what happened in the background. There's our note. We got some other very unique and cool triggers. For example, Inbox AI can watch incoming emails and process them. It can automatically extract tasks and add them to your task manager. It can sort messages or flag content that needs attention. Since we're using AI, this is not just following rules blindly, but it actually can understand your emails and decide what to do with it. It's pretty cool stuff. Now, I will be very honest with you. This is not an app that you will install and a minute later everything is set up and running. No. This is more like a very powerful tool that you will probably need to invest some time in to make the most of it. But don't let this scare you away. Not yet, at least. I want to show you around so that you can better understand how it all works. You can start seeing some of the possibilities for your own workflow, and then maybe you can decide if it's right for you. I am not affiliated to this app, and I'm not getting paid for this video. I just think that this tool has lots of potential that could be useful to some of you. Let's jump into the settings. Here, let's dive deeper into the Triggers tab. The most basic will be the keyboard shortcuts that work with either voice commands or screenshots, just like I showed you earlier. There's also the email processing that I mentioned, but I don't use any of that since I already got a good system in place for my inbox. One cool feature that we also have available here is watched folders. You can drop in audio or images and the app will process them automatically without the need of the user pressing anything. By the way, in Inbox AI, one keyboard shortcut alone can be used for multiple actions. I will explain that in just a moment. However, you can also set up different keyboard shortcuts if you want something very specific. For example, let me set up a quick trigger here. I will use Ctrl-Z and link it to a simple transcribe action. Now watch this. I press and hold the shortcut. I speak and I can say anything, then I can release, and my text appears instantly. Now, there's no AI processing happening here, which means that it's very fast. But if you want, it can also process your dictation with AI before pasting. We can add grammar fixes, do formatting requests, or even translations, as I have said here. Let me show you with Spanish. Esta es una prueba rápida para demostrar cómo funciona esto cuando dicto en español. So I release and It takes a little bit longer because of the extra work, but I wanted to show you how this app can match some of the features from dedicated voice-to-text tools. And many of these actions that you see here, actually, I customize myself. And while the triggers are simple and very straightforward, well, the actions is where all the magic happens. Let's jump to this other tab. When you first install the app, the sidebar may look more empty than mine, but don't worry, you can add actions from the gallery on the right side. There's a lot to choose from. We have options for notes, reminders, Tana, Notion, Obsidian, Todoist, and more. We also got some handy system actions as well. Since I personally do not use most of these apps, I just had to come up with my own integrations. And that is why one of my favorite actions is the terminal command that we have here in the bottom left corner. I use this one all the time. Now, all of these actions get really interesting when we look at how they work with AI. And for that, we have to look into the Ask AI type of action. We got the basic one, and then we got a real-time version. I stick with the basic version. It's slower, but it's also less expensive. This is the kind of action that I have here at the very top, and it's also the one that I trigger with a keyboard shortcut and I dictate my command. As you can see, you can assign multiple actions inside one Ask AI action, and then the correct one will be executed based on what you ask for. Remember when I asked AI to write an email earlier? Here's what happened. Inbox AI took my voice, it turned it into text, it sent that to my Ask AI action, and GPT-4o Mini figured out that I wanted to draft an email. I can look for this specific action, and as you can see, it simply uses a terminal command to make it happen. Same thing with the action to create a new burnout. It uses something called X callback URL. This will depend on the application you are using, but you can typically find out in the documentation what integrations are possible and then try to create something specific based on that for Inbox AI. So with this, I can hit my keyboard shortcut and say, hey, please make me a note with ideas on how to automate note creation by voice using AI. Make sure that it's a list of easy things to implement by someone who is just getting started with automation. Down here, we have a visual indicator showing the processing in real time. But I don't really need to keep an eye on it. I can carry on with whatever I'm doing. And later, I can just open my note-taking app and the results will be there waiting for me. I also got a lookup information action here for web searches. A quick example, I can say, hey, please Google how to cook Chinese chicken. Then I just wait a moment and my browser will open up my search. This one is special because it's not a direct command. It's another Ask AI action that can use ChatGPT, Claude, Google, or Perplexity. And then each of them can run its own terminal command. Let me step back for just a moment to once again give you an overview of everything that is happening here. First, I press and hold down my keyboard shortcuts. After that, I speak my command. Then my voice is sent to a voice model that will take it and it will transcribe it into text. That text is then sent to one Ask AI action. And this is where the magic starts to happen because it is presented with multiple options. And then AI can decide to perform one single action, like create a burnout, or it can do multiple actions, one after the other one, like grab my selected text and, depending on the content, add some tasks in my task manager. And not only that, but it also has the option of going inside a nested action, which will have more actions like we saw with web searches. So while this system can get pretty complex, it still feels relatively easy to use by dictating commands, and that is because of all the automatic chaining of actions where AI is the one taking decisions on what to execute. You can do voice dictation, email management, task management, search the web. It's useful for note-taking, And that's just scratching the very surface. If you're a bit of a power user like me, or if you know your way around scripting and APIs, you can do even more. And here's where I have to be honest about my experience with this application. While powerful, it still took me some time and effort to understand. I had to do lots of experimentation, go over the entire manual. I still have bookmarked the documentation on some things like variables and working with templates because I have to go in there and read again almost every time that I need to customize something else. Now, beyond the triggers and actions that I showed you, there's also so many other settings that you have to configure to get this working right. AI models, API tokens, transcription options, screenshot processing, text-to-speech settings. As someone who enjoys technology and automation, I appreciate all the control given to the user and customization. But even for me, it felt overwhelming at times. This may also have to do with the fact that, as I told you, the ready-made actions in the gallery were mostly not for me. So having to connect and customize everything to my own use cases made it feel more complicated than necessary. So who is this app ideal for? I believe it's great for people who love diving deep into automation. It would be awesome for those that handle lots of emails and need smart processing, users who want to integrate AI into their daily workflow. I think Inbox AI will be particularly useful for people who do not have existing solutions for the kind of tasks that I have been showing you in this video. And of course, it's an application for those that are willing to invest time in customizing their experience with their system. There are some limitations that I have to mention. Being in the App Store sets some restrictions for certain system level automations. For example, no accessibility API access. And yes, there's workarounds for some things like using screenshots or the user's clipboard to read text instead of accessing it directly. But then this also has some effect in the speed of the app. The real-time API that I mentioned in the Ask AI action makes everything so much faster, but it can also get expensive very quickly. If you go the normal route like me without the real-time API, some things just feel quite slow, especially when chaining multiple actions, like when dictating a command to take a screenshot, then read the content and do something with it. The AI decision making together with the system actions have some noticeable delays. Of course, right now I'm in China and I know that using a VPN adds extra lag, but still, I think that AI may not be quite there yet for the responsiveness that you would expect from a tool like this. Now, something worth noting is that this may not be a big deal for tasks that do not need instant feedback. And in many situations, after going through all the setup and customizing this for my needs, I did find that some of my systems could be simplified with the help of Inbox AI. For example, my AI Memos automation that I cover in another video. This is something that I use all the time to dictate on my watch or phone and then use Keyboard Maestro and the Shortcuts app to transcribe and create notes from that. With Inbox AI, the whole process becomes much more simple thanks to the Watch folder feature. Let me show you how I have this set up. So I'm here in the Triggers tab inside Inbox AI, and I have this watch folder that is waiting for audio files to be dropped, and then it will perform this Inbox AI memo action. So let me do a quick recording using just press record. I am just testing this automation that I have set up with Inbox AI. If everything works correctly, my audio file will be synced to my computer using iCloud, and then it will be transcribed and a note will be created. Now, I have the just press record folder here. And in this case, Keyboard Maestro is watching my just press record folder because Inbox AI doesn't have the ability to go inside subfolders. And that's something that Keyboard Maestro can do a little bit better. So the moment that a file appears there, like you just saw it happen right now, then the Keyboard Maestro will grab that file and move it to my Inbox AI folder, and Inbox AI will transcribe this, and a note should appear here on the left any second right now. Let's see. There we go. And I am just testing this automation. Yeah, my transcription is there. Let me go back to Inbox AI and I want to show you the actual action. And as we can see, this is another Ask AI kind of action because this is the one that is on charge of taking decisions. Now, as we can see here, I only assigned one single action to it. I didn't let it decide between many, many other things to do. No, because I don't want it to be confused. I simply wanted to make a new bare node with this. And down here, I also gave it a couple of instructions on some very general cleanup on my dictation. That's it, nothing else. And this is really cool because in case I ever want to change the formatting of my note, or if I want to change the model that is on charge of the processing, well, I can do all of that from within here. I don't have to jump to the Shortcuts app or Keyboard Maestro and be looking for where do I need to change that. No, here is very simple to change. And overall, it's also very simple to set up because I just had to connect a couple of actions that I already was using somewhere else inside this app. This is a tough one. For a long time, I've been debating about how to communicate correctly my thoughts about this app, and that is because Inbox AI is very promising and it's constantly evolving. But while I'm impressed by its capabilities and I can see how incredibly responsive the developer is, I still don't feel comfortable or 100% committed to use this as one of my primary automation tools. I actually already have set up a lot of these same kind of actions either with Keyboard Maestro or with Super Whisper. My solutions are not fully AI automated, but overall they just feel fast and perhaps they are not as versatile or super powerful, but they just work as I expect them to work. So I just haven't come up with anything that I need that I cannot find outside of Inbox AI already. There hasn't been anything that I feel is an absolute game changer for my particular workflow. That said, I think that it could be different for some of you. I know that Inbox AI could potentially transform how you work with your Mac if you're willing to invest the time. The possibilities are huge, especially as we see improvements in the AI field. For the right user, this tool could be pretty big. Who knows? Maybe at some point in the future, I can really make this fit better into my systems. I will give you links to both Inbox AI and the Slack community below. The developer is very helpful, so if you have any questions on how to make this work for your particular needs, you just have to reach out and I'm sure you'll get an answer. If you have tried Inbox AI, I would love to hear if you have found any interesting use cases for this app, or if you know of any other similar and powerful tools, please share your experience in the comments. I am still learning a lot about this myself, so I'm happy to consider your suggestions. Also, if there's anything that I can help you with, let me know and I'll try my best. Don't forget that you can always subscribe to my newsletter for more news on what I'm up to. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.